Hello, my name is Alejandro,
And I'm Judith.
and today we're speaking about Valero Energy Corp, and we're going to be talking about the recommendations that we have planned for them. So we have noticed that sustainable energy, like renewable energy, is a trend that we want to pursue because the planet is deteriorating. So we propose that Valero should invest in charging stations along the already established gas pumps that they have, because the switch from normal vehicles to electric vehicles is common and it's rapidly increasing, and the amount of charging stations at gas stations is not sufficient for long distance range cars. Along with this, we think that Valero should invest on developing an app to bring convenience to the customers, in the sense of being able to pre-order, prepay for their and rent their charging spot. Also have and the app will be able to get all the groceries or all the stuff that they need from the convenience store automatically delivered as soon as the driver pulls in, and it will provide a map with all the charging stations, and it will just be like a one-stop shop for the app to increase the convenience for Americans and to provide easier service and faster service to the customers. So consumers buying this feature, Valero will reduce the traffic, will increase the traffic, but will reduce the in-store traffic. And then also consumers that trust Valero high quality service and products, the addition of these features will make them even love Valero a lot more, which will increase brand reputation and customer loyalty.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about quarters 5 forces. For the threat of new entrants, we believe that seeing as if Valero does implement this, it could also want other companies to also apply these features to their station. So we believe that if we do it early on before everybody else does it, Valero will be a lot more successful. And then, since this is like such a simple idea that they can go off of. And for the bargaining power of suppliers, with this, we believe that some of the suppliers would they would see it as kind of like an advantage to possibly raise the leasing charges for them to add these charging stations to their locations. And also for the threat of substitutes, that was the part of suppliers. For the threat of substitutes, this would also go to show like how close other competitors are to Valero. So for me, I believe that Valero kind of has various locations that are they're actually like closely to each other, and so that gives them a benefit, but so that would make customers want to choose them rather than going to a competitor instead. And then also that for them offering all those benefits compared to the other ones, it would give them more of an advantage. And in terms of the bargaining power of suppliers, since EVs are increasing in demand, the need for charging stations, this would make the bargaining powers low. And then but if other companies decided to also implement this idea, that would increase the bargaining power of the buyers. And so for internal strengths and weaknesses, a couple of the strengths that we noticed is Valero is very known for having a low cost compared to other competitors. As you can see in the picture, a couple years back they had a price as low as 49 cents, which drove tons of traffic to their locations. And their brand loyalty is very high. Many consumers go because like they trust in the high quality products that Valero produces, and the convenience also by applying this application to their locations would benefit them a lot in saving time and for them wanting to get from location to location. And also their weakness was how much they invest in R&D, but seeing as how much capital they have, this that would make it more of a strength by applying these teacher, because they would be able to spend more on that and help them be more successful. And as for some of the weaknesses that we put is them selling their retail locations to Circle K and the corner store, because we're trying to drive traffic into them purchasing products from them. So that was one of the weaknesses that they had. And also they're very behind on technology, so we're trying to help them move forward by applying this app and giving consumers more of a benefit by using this to save time as well. I can add to that if you want.
Cool. Yeah, well, now I'm gonna talk about the actual recommendation. So we see an opportunity here where Valero can actually implement their ideals and goals of like preserving the planet and being more environmental friendly, because consumers are gonna want that regardless. And so here, if you can see in the graph, this is a graph that depicts the increase of electric vehicle purchases compared to the amount of charging stations that there is. And keep in mind, the already established charging stations are not powerful enough to charge the new models of electric vehicles that require at least 60 kilowatts of energy per hour. And so the competitive advantage that Valero will have will be being able to establish these charging stations fast enough, and the cost of a charging station, normally would be around $7,000 to install, and to run yearly would be anywhere from $100,000 to $270,000. But the cost to charge an electric vehicle for 30 minutes at a charging station will be about $25 to the customer. So if you think about the amount of traffic that Valero will have, and with this app that provides the service of checking and renting your charging station beforehand, Valero could actually make a lot of money from this. And it doesn't have to really be Valero. It could be the convenience store itself buying this Valero product to be able to make profits from the charging station, and obviously to repay for the electricity used by these charging stations. Other thing that we see is that Americans have a tendency for commodity and fast service. We tend to be really lazy. So having this application where you can check that, and you can pre-order items, pre-order services, can help can increase this brand reputation and this customer loyalty, because obviously the more convenient stuff, the better. Like if I go to a gas station where I can just order everything through my phone beforehand, compared to having to get down, wait in the line, go through the weather. If it's raining, I won't have to, be able to do that. It's completely different. I personally think that it's a great idea. So our argument to the board is to look at different type of models. Here, as you see, let me see if I can zoom in. So here you see, this is the price for a charging station, normal charging station that Tesla has put out. Total about $6,000. Valero has either three options. The first option will be to pair up with a competitor from Tesla and promise a contract to buy these electric charging machines at a lower price, making the competitor gain a lot of money, because Valero has a huge market share with over 6,800 gas stations that they serve. Or they could pair up with Elon Musk and get the same model that he's already making for a lower price. Or they could make their own prototype, because they have so much money from research and development that they are not allocating correctly, and come up with something that's way cheaper but sell it at the same price in order to increase profits. So Valero should also leverage their already established stores to sell the product, this new product and this new app. Valero should also sell this prototype not only to their gas stations, but other convenience stores. Maybe have a contract with Special K or with 7-Eleven to put these pumps at their locations. And then Valero should also invest on an app developer to create an app for the electric vehicles and for your phone to pre-order and prepay for the stuff that you're gonna get at the convenience store. Now, those are the ideas, but the numbers behind it are what really matters. So if Valero, if a normal convenience store has an average revenue of $4 million profit per year, if Valero was to gain 20% of the sales from a store yearly, that will mean that Valero is making, you know, $800,000 a year on the sales from the convenience store. And if 0.5% of this was charged to the customer per transaction, just as a convenience fee through the app, then the actual revenue from their locations will be pretty stagnant. Now, if Valero actually, instead of just going for their already established convenience stores, tries to get a market share of the total amount of convenience stores in the United States, which is 160,000. And so if Valero says, for example, tries to get a 40% of the market share by 2030, they will be bringing in annually $20,000 per convenience store, which is $1.2 trillion. No, $1.2 billion a year from all this revenue, which is it's actually pretty high compared to what they wouldn't do if this app didn't exist. Their advantage is also that this product is not done yet. It hasn't been invented. It hasn't been created. So if they patent this app, or if they push it out to different markets, they can easily get a market share because it's a new concept. One more thing that Valero should do is partner up with the big vehicle industry and manufacturers, and prepare those big vehicle companies or shipping companies for the transition from non-renewable energy source cars to electric vehicles, and sell them big prototypes and big charging stations to have at their locations. That way they can maximize their profits by not having to spend as much money filling up. And that will be all. If you have any questions, email us, let us know.
Thank you.
Thank you.